there is so much evidence on survival that I really don't doubt it much at all. The American Psychological Association, of which I'm a longtime member, has a publishing company, and they just published a book called Death is an Altered State of Consciousness by Iman Burris, a very good psychologist, a friend of mine. And he takes up all of the pieces of survival research, such as past life memories, such as mediumship, such as deceased people occurring in dreams, etc., etc. And he says the net total of the evidence certainly is strongly conducive to the existence of life after death. Now, the fact that the American Psychological Association published this means that it had to go through several reviews and several editors to get permission, especially given the controversial nature of the book. When it comes to controversial topics, many people give a knee-jerk reaction to say, well, that can't possibly be the case. I'm not even going to bother reading about that. And I think that outside criticism can be very, very valuable. And that is why I have had good relationships with some of the folks that you describe as skeptics, because I think that we can learn from some of the justifiable criticism. Now, when it comes to criticism that's not justifiable, all we can do is to make a reasoned response and hope people will read it. The example that comes immediately to mind is my conversations with Ray Hyman, who's retired professor of psychology at Oregon State University. And he wrote some very, very good critical pieces about parapsychological experiments. I think that a lot of his criticism is very, very valid, and he certainly is open to dialogue with parapsychologists. So that is the way that science proceeds, with dialogue and repeatable experiments and the like. Very different from what another group of so-called skeptics say, when they say, well, there's no sense reading this material because those events simply could not happen. The physical laws of the universe rule out this from happening. Now, how do you respond to something like that? But in the first place, there are people who have been analyzing these results who come from a very conservative point of view, and they say, well, there's nothing in the laws of physics that can rule out ESP and psychokinesis. In fact, there are ways of interpreting quantum physics to see how it provides an opening for such action at a distance.